2 players.
Be my honor, sir. Spawning in the bottom right position of the map that is Belshir Vestige, we have our yellow Terran player. He had a pretty good start to his day, but his night, pretty grim beginning to that. Can he take things back? It is Millennium's Dayshi. And spawning in the top left position as our blue Protoss player coming in for Mouse Sports. He went for a bit of light pressure and accidentally killed Dayshi. Will he be able to get a 2-0 here and advance in the WCS Challenger League? It is Hasuobs.
Well done for introducing the right player that time, by the way, Nathanius. I struggled with that in game 1. It's a tricky thing to do. It's been a long day, what can I say? And of course, it's probably only about mid-afternoon for you now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 3:51 p.m. where I am, so
you're still in full swing of the day. I'm getting to quite late evening now, so it's getting a little bit dark, and I haven't had enough tea and biscuits today. That's the big problem. But of course, so far this game, this could be the last game. How would you play this if you're in Hasuob's position? You're game up from a really quite easy win in the first match. Would you go for something risky? Would you go for something one base related? Or would you just try and play straight up and just see where that takes you?
Well, he's already got Dayshi playing on the defensive. Daishi's going to go for the 15 supply gas. This is most likely going to be something along the lines of... No, we don't mind expand. You get 2 Marines, get the reactor. It's going to be way more defensive than the Reaper expand, of course. You don't have the perfect scouting, but he's not going to send the SCV to scout. And the SCV scout's actually a little bit later than it would usually be. But this probe from Hasuobs is going to be able to get the SCV's going to build a supply depot, so not a full scout, but the way that he's set up, it doesn't look like he's going to proxy anything. However, Hasuobs does have that pylon in the bottom left area of his main. He could try to just get a quick 2-0 here.
He could do. And if he does try and go for that quick 2-0, I wouldn't criticize that at all, because let's face it, it's a prestigious tournament. You want to be able to advance, and if you can do it easily after your opponent made quite a few mistakes in the first game, then why not? No one's going to think badly of that at all. Now, as we can see, the SCV scout is going to come in here for Dayshi. We'll see that the double gas is down. There's 4 probes in those gas, which isn't a complete commitment, but does mean the mothership core can come out quite quickly should Hasuobs want to get that. And I think that's most likely what he'll do. Meanwhile, we've got the reactor on its way here for Dayshi. He's still keeping all of his SCVs in the gas there, and he's taking his natural command center. What's really important is to find out what Hasuobs does next, and that is what Daishi's going to want to know. And that SCV, just taking a good thorough look around, making sure that he gets a good read where possible.
Yeah, and what's most important for the SCV is that despite there being double gas, he saw all 3 pylons, so he knows there's not anything like a proxy. Hasuobs is just going to expand behind this. He did open with the Stalker, which is slightly interesting, only in that oftentimes it would be a sentry expand and not just a straight up Stalker. But the Stalker, of course, does give a bit better scouting opportunity, and the Mothership Core can be used as that defensive supplement. But we do have the factory going for Dayshi, that command center as well, and he is a lot more safe than he was in the first game. But you know what? He's not getting hit with that much aggression. The Stalker's going to come up. Dayshi should be able to shoo it away with this high ground positioning. And I feel like this is going to be a little bit more of a normal macro game. We already have gateways being added for Hasuobs, though. He could be trying to hit a fast gateway follow-up timing. But yeah, that could actually end up working well for Dayshi with this Widowmine this Widowmine drop he could be going for if the robotic facility is not out in time.
I was just taking a look at that, seeing the Widowmine coming out, seeing the Starport coming out. Widowmine drop really quite likely. And I quite like Widowmine drops on Belshir because there is this dead space around the main, which you can try and utilize. But I like the fact that Hasuobs has put a pylon right at the edge in order to detect any medevacs that are coming in at the earliest possible moment without having an observer. Really smart move. A probe does get taken out in the center of the map by the left watchtower. Meanwhile, the Stalker for Hasuobs getting pulled back from the right watchtower. Both players have got their naturals secured now, and we are going to get into some later phases. And yeah, robotics facility on its way down here for Hasuobs. His warp gate tech just finished up, and he's just sitting quite comfortably with that sentry for the defense.
Yeah, and this is basically going to be a forward marine mine pressure, which isn't bad. The Mothership Core, though, will have enough energy for photon overcharge, so he cannot just assault the front and willy-nilly and just deal lots of damage. The robotics facility's not there, so the mine can sort of act as a blocker, but it's not a huge deal. And if he moves these Marines too far forward and that Mothership Core gets a time warp, all these Marines are going to die. And he's getting really close. He doesn't need to photon overcharge because these Marines aren't going to kill the Nexus, but, well, I'm more curious to see what this medevac is going to be able to make happen here. He may just want to bait out the Photon Overcharge so that he can do a drop into the main, but we're going to have to see.
Well, at the moment we've got some more Zealots getting warped in here, trying to move forward. Of course, Hasuobs knows that there's 2 Widow Mines here, so he's going to be a little bit cautious because you can lose a lot of one-shot gateway units. So straight away 2 of those Zealots do go down, taking a good chunk of this army out. And there is the medevac as well. This is significantly going to increase how effective this goes. There's the Photon Overcharge though, but it's at the natural. Dayshi, if he wants to commit, can move straight up, and that's why Hasuobs drops that force field down, wanting to make sure that that is not a possibility open to Dayshi at the moment. And he's going to force back these Marines with those Stalkers. Behind this, Daishi's just been happily going about his normal business. He's macroing up, he's getting a tech lab on the starport. That is really interesting.
Yeah, that's. I feel like he's just setting them up for his barracks. He's going to move the barracks onto those add-ons, get his stim going, get his combat shield. This is the standard follow-up, but instead of getting a 3rd command center, he's going to go very quick into 5 racks play. So what this could be from Dayshi is something along the lines of one of those 2-base Marine, Marauder, SCV, Viking all-ins, and you just kind of, you get out enough Vikings, maybe 4, 6, usually 6 is the sweet spot to be able to punch through Colossi in low numbers, and then you just kind of just gun it. Going for 5 racks after an aggressive play like that, not doing a terrible amount of damage, does make me feel like Dayshi wants to be a bit more aggressive, but given the fact that he's already down 1 game, he might play this a little bit more cautiously than that.
Yeah, he may do. For the moment, Hasuobs, he's getting down his robotics bay, as you said. Double forge now as well, so really committing to the later stages. The probe, old probe, you built yourself into a box. Silly probe, you had 1 job. But now we do have the engineering bay up for Dayshi as well. But the thing that Hasuobs had is a complete scout out of what's going on. He had an observer in the base. He had a good little peek around, knows precisely what Dayshi has, what add-ons he's doing, knows that the combat shield and stim pack upgrade is getting researched. Even saw that the factory was there. So this is now a good read, ultimately, for Hasuobs. He knows he's relatively safe at the moment, and he's starting with his first Colossus.
Yeah, and I think this is a pretty smart decision. What I feel like Hasuobs is looking to do, and I feel like this could hurt him. Okay, there, he's going to build the Thermal Lance. Realizing that it's a 5 racks play, oftentimes we see Protoss players do this build where they open with the Colossus, they get this double forge, and then instead of getting Colossi range, they just grab a Twilight Council and go straight to Templar after building 1 unupgraded Colossus, basically to fake out Terran players. But realizing that this is going to be a very fast 5 racks play from Dayshi, Hasuobs wants to have those Colossi. He wants to have that Thermal Lance. He wants to make sure that with good force fields he can hold this off, because he is way too far away for Storm to have any kind of impact in this game.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to note as well, that Storm won't be out for quite a long while now because there is not even a Twilight Council yet. So the tech path, nowhere going down. Extended Thermal Lance is now about a 3rd done. It's not currently getting chrono boosted though. The chrono boosts are being spent somewhere else, actually on getting more Colossi out. So a bit more defense position. There's also this double drop for Dayshi at the left-hand side, waiting to go in, but the Observer can see that perfectly happily. So that's why a lot of these Stalkers on the Mothership Core sitting up there at the moment. Meanwhile, Dayshi just moving across the map with a handful of infantry units, a couple of medevacs, all while back at home, just happily macroing up, macroing. But there we go, Twilight Council on its way, Nathanius. +1, nearly done as well. And yeah, +1, ground armor already finished for Hasu.
Yeah, not bad play at all. I feel like his best chances, well, I mean, aside from the Observers really being a pain, but the thing is, these Stalkers, if he catches the army, if he can use his whole army and fight the split army of Hasuobs, he's in a good position. But with this Observer here, he knows that he's not going to get hit with the drop. He knows to be like, okay, well, yeah, I can bring my Stalkers home. I don't have to worry about a drop because all of your units are here. So Dayshi is going to be held back for now, and, well, I actually do not see a 3rd command center yet from him, so I'm very curious as to what his intentions are.
Now we've got a Stalker getting caught out of position there. Concussive Shell slowing it down, allowing this infantry to move in. Dayshi feels quite confident here, pushing very far forward. The force field's quite nice for Hasuobs. He is going to be able to tear apart a lot of that infantry with those Colossi, and currently there's only 2 Vikings out on the field for Dayshi. Therefore, he's got to be a little bit careful moving in. Extended Thermal Lance has now finished, and with Blink on the way, obviously the option for the Templar Archives to come down in the near future. I'd say Hasuobs defended that quite nicely. He didn't lose too much, but round 2 is coming in, and he doesn't have much gateway support for these Colossi.
Yeah, I mean, the Mothership Core doesn't have energy for double photon overcharge, but I feel like he doesn't think he 100% needs that. The Marines do run into the mineral line, though. Nice little split play here, focusing down those probes is Dayshi. He's killed 10 of them so far. Very nice. And the Vikings are suddenly going to start to become a part of this game as well, which is a very, very important thing to note. The first couple ones have popped out. And Well, Dayshi, he's applying the pressure, but the 2-2 is on the way for Hasuobs. And once that's complete, it's going to be very easy to basically just pile drive through this bio. He doesn't have an armory on the way. Actually, excuse me, as I said, he just starts it. And a third command center. So this is a very late third from Dayshi. But he knows there's no third base for Hasuobs, so it's kind of like one of those weird trade-offs. But Hasuobs, with that 2-2, if he wanted to push, he probably could.
He probably could do, and that's something that Dayshi does have to be slightly cautious of. With only getting the single upgrades out, this means that the longer this game goes on, Hasuobs is going to get further and further ahead with those double upgrades, especially chrono boosting them religiously as he has been doing. We've got Charge also now just getting started. The Colossi count starting to climb a little bit higher, the third one about to pop out. But that's where you start reaching that critical match you need. The Observer placement, brilliant for Hasuobs. He knows exactly when Dayshi wants to move in. The scan there as well gets a good read. This natural nexus taking quite a bit of fire. The force field's going down once more. Blinkstalker's moving on up, trying to focus down those Vikings, preventing them from getting down the Colossi. The Mothership Core does fall, but the two Colossi at the back are staying up. They're dealing a tremendous amount of damage. 2-2 is not quite done yet, so a nice little timing push by Dayshi there, and he's forcing Hasuobs back. The Hasuobs supply down to just 75 compared to 115 of Dayshi right now.
Yeah, he could not have taken a better engagement here. The natural nexus does fall. The couple of Vikings are here as well. These Marauders are really paying for themselves with how much damage they have done, and I feel like Dayshi may be able to tie things up here and bring us to a 1-1 ace match. GG!